Alright, and we should be live. Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the 7th and second to last round of the Grand Prix Classics Championship. I think Season 4 we're in currently, and it's already, well, nearly over. Near enough. And we are promised some exciting races at the end of the season. Today will be just another one. We are in the United States of America on the track of Indianapolis, the infield track. We're not doing the oval, of course. And as you can see in practice, normally practice in this game, when people organize leagues, they like to make their practice useful by making it mirror somewhat the settings as they are in the race. As you can see, there's a lot of spray behind this Ferrari that we're watching of JJ, who currently has the fastest lap. And he is absolutely sending it. You can see the car slide a lot, and it's very exciting to see because we will be having a wet start today. Wet start means the track will be wet, but the weather will be dry. It's similar as what we've seen in Spa. And if we ignore that Dustin was incredibly bullied at the start, he didn't have that good of a getaway, and after that race, actually, if you did watch it, there was a 10-second time penalty for Keza, who pushed off Dustin at one point in the first lap. But other than that, it was actually a super clean race. Very tough still. Wet weather makes it very difficult to be consistent, fast, both at the same time. And today we're gonna see a little bit of an interesting situation, because this is turn 1. You can see it's a 90-degree corner. Oh, La Source was also pretty, it was more than 90 degrees, it was a very sharp corner, but this time around, La Source has a very, there's a very short run up to La Source, even if you start your lap from like a hot lap, so you already got some speed over the start finish straight. Start finish line, I should say. It's still a very short run, so you don't actually have that much speed into it. Here, this straight is long, the start finish straight. It's a lot longer anyway, and you, especially if it's a hot lap, you will carry a lot of speed through the back corner before it as well. So it's going to be interesting to see the race start, and of course the rest of the race is going to be equally as interesting. Do not tune out after the start. You will regret it. Who have we got today? We've got JJ. JJ returns last time around. Last week, in fact. He was replaced, substituted by Ant Carlos, who drove the Ferrari. Today JJ is back, and he is in his old car. Just in time for his teammate, Alan Fry, to potentially win the championship today. Notice how the camera always ducks behind certain places. You can't see the cars. If devs are here, please fix that. It's a very difficult spectator experience sometimes. It's very difficult for me to select the right camera. But yeah, Alan Fry, currently not quite comfortable with the conditions yet, but today he does have a very realistic chance to clinch the championship. Last time around he also had a chance, but it would include him winning and Dustin finishing low enough to score less than 5 points. He did win the race. Dustin did score more than 5 points last time. So, despite being incredibly bullied, he still managed to finish P6. And I think the penalties don't actually move him up at all. So, he scored 7 points. The gap is now 30 points and needed to be 32 points. Essentially, if Alan Fry scores 2 points today, he wins the championship. If he fails to score 2 points, but Dustin doesn't win and get the fastest lap, he still wins the championship. So, Alan Fry, very realistic chance that he will, after today, be the championship winner. It'll be the 3rd or 4th time he's done it. And an absolute legend in the community. Incredibly fast driver, incredibly consistent as well. Not unbeatable, absolutely not unbeatable. I've seen people do it. We all saw people do it. Specifically, Dustin did it just 2 races ago. But it's not easy. It's also incredibly consistent. Overall, a force to be reckoned with. And it's like Max Verstappen, you know. It can be very boring to see the same person because of their immense skill, and in the case of F1, also the car being incredible, just picking up wins every single time, or virtually every single time. But you also have to be impressed at the consistency and the sheer speed of that person, what they're able to extract out of the car. So Alan Fry today on essentially a victory lap, provided he doesn't royally mess things up. And wish him all the best. Now the only other man who is in the running, Dustin, he will need to do a lot. I described it earlier. But also he's still in a fight for the constructors. While he might be 30 points behind on driver points, the team is actually only 11 points behind, which is something you can absolutely make up in one race. If him and his teammate Gerald Smith both have a good race today, and either JJ or Alan doesn't, then it's very possible that they take the lead in the championship and they still have something to fight for. Besides, they also have Suzuka next race, so there's still a little bit of margin there. So Dustin will want at least a second win this championship. He's got 3 podiums and 1 win. The only win that wasn't claimed by Alan Fry. So let's see what he can do today. Let's see if he can add 1 to the tally. Michael, actually very high up in this practice session so far, but I don't think most people have said at all a representative lap time. It's just trying to get a good feel for what the conditions will be in the race and making sure the car is set up correctly. So all of these times mean nothing. But Michael, he's still in 7th place. He tends to be around there. He's actually only 1 point ahead of JJ, so he will be fighting JJ for championship position today and in 2 weeks, which will also be streamed here, by the way. So do stick around for that. And the team he is in, I believe that is the Sauber car. I think it's Sauber, yeah. The team he is in is actually doing quite well. 3rd in the championship right now, but very, very far behind the Jordans of Dustin and Gerald. So I don't think there's much they can look forward to. Behind them do have Donska and the Crow, who are... It's possible. I will say it's possible. But it's not likely that they will overtake. 48 for Prost to the 64 of Sauber. It's a big, big gap. Let's see if Michael can make it definitive today, and if he can stay ahead of JJ. That will be his goal. He also has Chiesa ahead, who I do not see yet today. I could quickly check if he signed up. Also, if people ghost, that's because on one screen, like, they joined after somebody started driving and that person hasn't gone in. Like, they haven't returned to garage. So the cars for the Ferrari of, I believe it would be JJ. No, it's Alan Fry. Yeah, Alan Fry started driving before Michael joined, and he hasn't stopped driving since. As soon as Alan Fry goes back to pits, he goes back to garage, Michael will load in for him. For now, it just means that they ghost and there's no collision. Michael will just have to try and pay attention. And we will actually go on, yeah, let's do chase cam, or let's do onboard so you can see, oh, cockpit, that's the one. So you can see what they are seeing. So who else do we have? Gerald Smith, actually, I talked about it a little bit. Well, I did say, oh, I did want to check before we do that. I did want to check, and I think Chiesa should be here today. Okay, I don't see him yet. I'm double checking. I don't see him yet. But yeah, he should be here today. So hopefully he will be here soon. And he will be able to defend himself against Michael. Gerald Smith today. will be fighting with Dustin to try and overtake Ferrari in the championship. Very, very possible. Gerard and Dustin have shown excellent pace this season. Excellent results as well. Alan Fry is very difficult to contend with. JJ is not easy by any means to beat, of course, but a lot more manageable, let's say that. Regardless, I think they won't want Alan Fry to be ahead if they can prevent it, so they'll try their very best, and it's going to be a difficult race as well, so anything can happen. Of course, that can also work against them. If Gerald and Dustin have had great practice and they're very happy with their setup and they think they can do a great job. Fortunately, as it is with unpredictable conditions, weather conditions, the conditions on track, in terms of other drivers, whatever, also become very unpredictable. And there's a strategy element, we'll get on that later. We also got Silver, I think is one of our bigger fans. Silver is driving, and he has been driving for the whole season, I think, this car, which is a BMW Williams. He's currently in P6, a decent job. He currently is 14th in the standings. He's actually the lowest currently of everyone with double-digit points, 14 points, but 1 point by HDM, who is driving today. 1 point behind Cuckoo, who was also driving today. So Silver has a fight on his hands. And last time he got 6 points. Cuckoo's 2 and HDM wasn't there last time. So if Silver can repeat that performance and Cuckoo struggles, then it's absolutely possible Silver makes a very nice move in terms of the championship points. And he could jump up. If he has a very good race, he could beat the Crow and go all the way up to 11th or maybe even 10th ahead of Shmoo. Who I don't see right now. Yeah, I'm right. Although I will say, Cuckoo, one of the people he's battling, has just gone and set the second fastest lap time. Of course, doesn't mean anything. It is still practice. We're not in qualifying yet, so the times are nothing. Honestly, they mean nothing. But that is a very solid sign. If you are many seconds off and you don't expect it, then it's an absolute disaster. So we've avoided the main disaster where you think your setup is good and then you drive it compared to other people and it's dreadful. So we've avoided disaster number 1 for Cuckoo. However, you're still not there. Like, this is basically meaningless. But still in a fight with ATM, E-Silver, the Crow and Shmoo ahead within touching distance, reaching distance. 5 points to the Crow and 6 to Shmoo. Possible, not easy. Although if the Crow and Shmoo aren't here today, then it's going to be a lot easier. We also have got Limerveer, who was here from the start of the session. And in the season, he's actually only done last race. He is actually noted as a reserve driver. He has scored 3 points last time around. Respectable. I feel like he can do more. So let's see today if he can prove me right and get a good result on the board today. 3 points will be P10, I believe, so... Anywhere in the P10, I think, in P10, top 10, excuse me. Anywhere in the top 10, I think, is a very good result for him. See what he can do. HCM actually has just improved. P6 right now. Still behind Silver and Cuckoo, but ahead of Limur. And the gap to Geralt is quite small. Of course, these times mean nothing. I'll keep mentioning the times, but the times mean nothing. Remember that. Whenever I mention the times, they still mean nothing, right? HCM on though. Again, first disaster avoided. The setup isn't totally off. Anything is possible. Will also be looking to put himself in the fight and get ahead of Cuckoo. Cuckoo's only ahead by countback, as in had a better finish than ACM. Let's see what he can do today. In the Jaguar, I think leading Jaguar. Yes, Max Manfred is the other one. He's there today, so we'll get to him. In fact, I think we'll get to him now. No. Yeah, we'll do that first. Fuck it, we'll do that first. Max Manfred, he joined every race, but only has picked up 2 points in Austria 3 races ago. We'll be hoping to stay clean today during practice. That's not that much of a problem, although I will say it was a little bit ambitious of the Ferrari. We are much faster than someone you should be expecting anything. Fortunately, has to reset. Yeah, Manfred will be trying for something good today. See what is possible. In terms of position, he can gain a lot just by getting a point or two. So, let's hope for the best. And Carlos is even within reach. Who only joined last race, to be fair, and got 4 points for Ferrari. So, fair enough. Within reach, though. If he gets a very good result, he can even get up to P15 all the way from... It's currently standing off P21. And the last person I want to look at is this person who I'm quickly... I think it's Domschka, yeah. Domschka, currently P9. And can look ahead. JJ, 3 points ahead. Michael MH7, it's 4 points ahead. Kiese is 6 points ahead. So that's a little bit more difficult. Especially if Kiese does show up today, which we haven't seen him yet today. So hopefully he will. And then we'll make life very, very difficult for Domschka. Not because I don't like Domschka, just because it will be good entertainment. Yeah, that's kind of the standings. That's what we're going from today. One man on a mission to clinch the World Championship today. And only one man capable of stopping him, but Dustin currently only has the 8th time. Of course, time's been nothing. Remember, time's been nothing. But he is P8. A lot of people are possibly on the pace. Gelsmeet is very close to Alan. JJ is very close to Alan, it seems. Domschka and Cuckoo within a second. Domschka is actually very, very close to JJ. That's 1,000th of a difference, depending on if you look at the interval or the raw times. It's because of rounding errors, if you're confused. It's not errors, it's just rounding. And I've got Limavia and the HGM look to be very close to pace. Yeah, all these times, they mean nothing. But they are about to mean something, because we're about to go into qualifying. Once everybody crosses the finish line, and... there we go. Everybody has now crossed the finish line. So we are ready for the next section, which will be qualifying. Alan Fry, fastest man out there for now. Gains time in every single sector. Could just mean he has lower fuel, of course. So, again, we cannot say anything from that. The times are completely meaningless. Let's see who comes out first. I think Michael is ahead of this person, but there is... I think that's... where is he? Silver? Yes. Silver, who is first out of the box. Of course, pay attention to this pit exit. If you go straight there, you go right onto the exit of turn 1. That is important because it is very likely that during the race, the very first stop will be done by people that go from the intermediate tires, because it will start wet. They go onto the slicks, which do not function when it is drizzling or raining at all. It is very possible that people will miss that exit and they might get penalties for it. Might just not always be in trouble for that. So, something very important. I hope the drivers have practiced that very well. We'll go on board with Edward for a hot lap of the Indianapolis circuit. Always the honor for the person that exits the pit or crosses the line first, and he has done that now. The first braking zone, we'll leave it as late as possible and stay as wide as possible. Get a good run through here and set up immediately for the next left-hander. Which I think it could have done that a little bit wider. There you go, set up for the next corner. This is a very flowing track. Corners leading to the next. There's a chicane here, and now we get onto a long straight. Try to carry as much speed through that chicane as you can, because you benefit from it through this whole chicane. Brake for this hard braking zone, 90-degree corner, big curve on there. If you hit it, you will slide a little bit, and then a couple of S's. Lift off at the right time. hit the apex there. Again, 90 degrees, and then a big corner leading into the oval section. But you almost immediately go onto the brakes and back into the infield. The pit entry is on the right here. There it goes. And then you set up for the last corner, skipping the bank corner so we don't get a 2005 where only 5 people drive. And that's how you finish your lap at E-Silver with a 1:05.9. Quick lap, as in it is a very short time around this track, but Michael immediately improves. Is Alan Fry currently driving, and where is he? He is, I think, up to the first oval section into the braking zone. Appears to be a little bit of a lock-up, and he also has a driver ahead of him, so it won't like that. He will get some dirty air from that. These are not ground effect cars, and these cars do rely on their downforce over body. So there is going to be some harm for that. But 1:04.222 from Alan Fry, and that is at a time half a second faster than anyone else. He immediately overshoots that on purpose. Dustin does go ahead and improve to be second. Less than half a second behind, so he's close. But Alan Fry with the first shot, first hand on the trophy, is currently in P1. Will make it very difficult for other people to challenge him and to keep him from winning the championship today. Although mostly it is in Alan's hands. Gerald Schmid then, can he do anything to beat Alan? It's going to be very difficult. Also know that Alan Fry, a Ferrari, followed by a Jordan of Dustin, a Jordan of Gerald, and then again a Ferrari of JJ. It's kind of what we've seen also in Hockenheim, where it was these 4 all racing together. What does Gerald do? He improves, but not on position. Does get within half a second of Alan. I will say JJ, not that far off Alan anyway, and Michael is best of the rest currently. 5th place for him. HGM in 6th. It was very significant for HGM, of course, in the fight with Cuckoo. I believe... was it also Michael? I think it was... No, it was not Michael. It was someone else. It was Silver, who is a little bit behind that. But they're very close to each other, I think. 3/10 between Silver and HGM. That's 4 drivers. Domschka improves. Actually closes up with the lead pack as JJ comes in for another improvement, I believe. Or he is setting up for a lap. I think he's setting up for a lap. So let's see how he does it. Through here. Setting up wide for this corner, of course. Want to have a good run through here. Good exit through the chicane. It is completely flat out. You do not have to lift or brake. You just have to get the line right and not smash the curb like a crazy man. So it might end your run or slow it down anyway. They're doing a very solid job. Let's look further down the grid actually. Domschka, of course, best of the rest. Big gap to Michael, who's in P6, HGM in 7. Cuckoo in 8th, Limovie in 9th. We've got Silver in 10th, and Manfred rounds off the grid with a bit of a gap to the rest. That is absolutely fine. I think he's a little bit less experienced than the rest, and honestly, the best you can do then is just drive your laps, drive your races, and just have fun. JJ though, big improvement, makes a Ferrari 1-2. It's actually a decent gap as well to Dustin. Alan, well, I wasn't looking, has also improved a little bit. So Dustin and Gerald, the Jordans, will want to improve, as they've been dropped outside of half a second. Goldsmith is currently just started the run. Where is Dustin though? Is this currently on a run? Hard to say, but he is really hitting those apexes. The early upshift tells me he's maybe not on a run yet. Let's quickly have a look at what Geralt is doing. After the long straight in the infield, through the S's, getting up to the section where you go back onto the oval. Looking very exciting, and the Jordans are fighting with Ferrari here for, well, preventing their 1-2 as it stands right now. 7 minutes 40 to do it. Equally, 7 minutes 40 for JJ and Alan to improve their times. Gerald Smith will be the first to answer. Is it going to be enough? I think he's crossed the line already, and there's no improvement in time at all. It was not a success for him. Maybe Dustin then. Let's see what he can do. Picking up with him at the same point we picked up with Gerald earlier. Let's see what Dustin can do then. Trying to send it through these S's. And this braking zone is actually quite important. Gotta get a right setup here for this next corner. I believe you want to get as much speed as you can out of that, because this is important for the rest of the straight. As we see those trucks again, get used to them. They will be on screen a lot, unfortunately, as the cameras are lined up that way. But no improvement from Dustin as well. That is interesting, but also terrifying. JJ, I think he's starting. I just started another lap. And where is Alan? Alan is also pushing. Ferrari seems to have got this. Actually, Gerald just improved, but it's 5 thousandths away from JJ. And JJ keeps that front row lockout with Alan. 6 minutes to go, so there's plenty of time, and these laps are short. So there is plenty of attempts you can do. Domska puts himself into the mix ahead of Dustin, and suddenly Jordan is in big trouble. They want to take the fight to Ferrari for the Constructors' Championship, but if Dustin is behind Domska for the start, he's going to have that much more trouble, especially in the rain. Because it just means more traffic, and traffic is especially unpredictable in the rain. So it's important for him to try and get ahead. I think he's currently on an outlap. Don't want to look at these too much, but it's so exciting, this fight for what is ostensibly the top 2 positions, currently locked by Ferrari. I said earlier today, and I might come to eat my words later today, that JJ is not nearly as bad to beat as Alan Fry, but the gap between them is less than 3 tenths right now. JJ improved a little bit more. So it appears JJ has heard my words and thought, nah, I'm full of it. Let's go and prove it. And I think he's done it so far. The track will be evolving, so he is not safe. Dustin, we know he is very quick. Will he doing everything he can as one of the Ferraris has a little bit of an excursion. He'll just be trying to reset, but I don't see any Ferrari resetting, so might not be that. Dustin will be trying his very best to dethrone Alan Fry. It's going to be difficult. The track is evolving. The track should be a little bit faster. And it's going to have to be a saving grace. The laps here are very quick. Already on the first section on the oval. Looks very quick through there, and through here then, does he get a good exit? It seems like a superb run through there. Is that true? Is it going to be enough? He lines up on the right just to get a shorter run to the start-finish line. It's an improvement, a huge improvement, within a tenth of Alan Fry, but not past him. Immediately, he goes back to pits, and he goes back out. Dustin is super motivated to try and beat Alan. It's a good lap, but it's not good enough. Alan Fry is still in the lead. JJ has now been beaten, and he will be trying to take that back. But let's quickly take a break from that fight. Domska is very close, doing a great job, currently in P5. Seems to really mix himself in with the leaders. Silva currently in P6. Doing an excellent job there, actually. Especially for his championship position. If he finishes there, he's done an excellent job. Michael, currently in P7, basically where he belongs, honestly. I always find him there. Cuckoo in P8, ahead of HCM, that is important, but still behind Silver, so still room for improvement and necessary as well. Limavia currently in P10 and Manfred still a couple of seconds behind in P11. Will just be trying to get comfortable. And Alan Fry, as I was reading off the rest of the people, trying to give them attention, Alan Fry tries to claim it again by setting a much faster lap. The first one we see in the 1.3s. 1.3.878. That is incredible. I think... Oh, that's a big mistake from Donchka. Has to cancel the lap. And if you are Dustin, you will be looking at that. You will think, I got so close to Alan, I can beat him this run. You look at the timing tables, you see Alan jump up so much. And, like, what do? It's hard to not get discouraged then. But he will be going for it. He got a little bit of a slipstream. Hopefully it helped him more than it harmed him on the entry of turn 1. We'll see very soon. If he doesn't... I think if this lap isn't it, he's got one chance to very quickly reset and go back out. But man, it's dodgy. It might be better. I hope for him he refuels for a couple of laps. The tires won't be optimal. Yeah, he's reset right now. He realizes that was not good enough and he wants a little bit more time just to reset. That will be his last hurrah when he comes across the line. Alan Fry also setting up for his last lap of the session. Dustin, is he driving out? Dustin is driving out. JJ is standing in the pits and he might be too late to start another lap. Gerald Smith is driving out. It's going to be very tight for these. They actually have no time to waste. Actually, Gerald might already be too late. Dustin is currently driving out. Dustin will have probably the best of the... Oh, actually, let me check something. No penalties for that. Thought he went over the line. Might be a penalty. But he will have the best of the track for himself. As Alan Fry, we're going on board with him. The man, the myth, the legend. Trying to clinch the championship today. Trying to get pole position there. Braking for turn 1. And he is going as fast as he possibly can. We'll have... the best of the track he's possibly going to get because he has no chance to reset or try and improve. Every other driver will be trying to beat him, but a 1.3.8 is already so difficult to beat. And if he improves again, it's going to be almost impossible, I think, for most drivers that own this game and play on it and have spent hours and hours in it. Alan Fry is showing off why he is the championship favorite. Has been for a long time in SSR. And yeah, it almost feels like a victory lap for him, but we haven't even started with the race. It's way premature. Very big slide through there, carrying a lot of speed, so it might be all right. This game doesn't punish sliding as much as other games. And through here, through the last corner, he's lining up actually not even on the right. Across the line is an improvement. It's not an improvement of time at all. Dustin, will he be able to beat him? Domschka actually improved all the way to 3rd place. I think Gerald Smith will have one shot. So Domschka, very nicely done actually currently in P3. Dustin on his last hurrah. It's a huge jump he has to make to beat Alan. But it's of course possible. You start from 0 again when you start a new lap. Anything is possible from that moment. There's a couple of slides here and there. Ooh, I'm not so sure about this one. He lines up on the right, gets a shorter run to the start finish. Is it enough? Cross the line. It's a big improvement, but not a 1-3 by 2000. And Alan Fry to take pole position. Gerald Smith across the line, improves in time, improves in position ahead of JJ, who falls back all the way to 5th place. Looked to be a 1-2 lockout for Ferrari. But Dustin and Gerald and even Domschka all beat him to the punch. Michael in P6 and Silver still driving. But Silver in P7 for his little championship fight. That is a huge deal. Ahead of Cuckoo, ahead of HGM. These three are fighting, remember, for championship position. Limavia a little bit behind and Max Manfred a little bit more behind. Will be still getting comfortable with this game in this car. That is incredible. Incredible, and what's going to be even more incredible is probably the start. Ladies and gentlemen, look at this track. Look at the tires. These are not your regular old slicks. And unfortunately, we'll be seeing tires that look like this the whole race. So fortunately, This is just how how the game works. It doesn't show the tire switches correctly. But what we're expecting is a wet start. There will be light cloud. It was supposed to be light rain, but they messed up the settings. So now it's just rain in the sky. It stays in the sky. It doesn't actually fall down. Light cloud. Dustin in P2 will be trying for a move at the start. It's going to be a difficult wet start. And at some point they're going to pit. The first time they stop, we're expecting them to go to slicks. And that's everybody lined up. And you have to remember, when they go on slicks, it's going to be very difficult for them. When they go on slicks, the tires will not be ready yet. Because the track will still be quite wet. Especially on pit exit, it will be incredibly wet because nobody's driven there to remove the water. The slicks will be fast. Like overall. So it's all about getting the timing right. And it's predicted that the stop will be so early that they need to stop again later anyway. So we'll likely see a 2-stop. Let's see if that comes out. Let's see what happens. The drivers get ready. The lights go out. You can't see anything from here. There, Alan Fry goes. We'll go on board with Dustin. It's a little bit more of a slide. Alan has a great start. As they all come down the start-finish straight. Domska has an incredible start around the outside. Even challenging Alan around the outside. Oh, he goes off track a little bit wide. Dustin comes back there. JJ also made up a position. And he slots into 4th. Dustin loses one. And Domska has an incredible start. Going from P3 all the way to P2. And even challenging Alan Fry for the lead. Geldsmith in P5. Michael losing a position to Cuckoo. They are still fighting. Defended a little bit off track. I'm not sure what the stewards will think of that, as Dustin has to settle for 3rd. Domska defending that, but they were side by side for a quick moment. And Alan Fry is off for his victory run of 42 laps to try and clinch the championship. Now around the outside, Dustin is looking again. I think this is done. Domska is still on the inside though. Will be able to defend it. Oh, but he goes wide. Incredibly wide. Trying to defend it and be a hero. But he's on the grass right now. Oh, and that is incredibly costly. Where does he come back on track? It says he's P2. Yeah, I think he has to give that position back. That is absolutely not on. That is not how you defend it. Cuckoo currently in P6 ahead of Michael. I'm not sure where Michael is. The spray is incredibly strong. Oh, and where's Dustin? Oh, Dustin got challenged by JJ there. Domska is still ahead. He hasn't given the position back. A little bit incredible. And Dustin, you see a little bit of a snap. Not getting the traction he wants. And as a result, not lined up properly for the corner. JJ has him in his visor, but you cannot see anything. He has to take an alternative line just to not risk crashing into Dustin. And he does that very nicely. Does show up a little bit in the mirrors of Dustin. It's not enough for a proper challenge. Also, oh, Silver on the grass. No! And such a good qualifying, but he's thrown away, I think, every chance at the start at least to challenge. The race is long. It's not over yet. HCM now ahead of him. Michael ahead of that. And Cuckoo doing an excellent job for the championship. Currently in P6. Back to the fight then for what will be P2. Dustin, I think he will be fuming at Domska for that rejoin. Essentially, if you remember, Lewis Hamilton going straight on in Mexico. It's cutting the whole corner. But kind of the vibe we got, but I think this was much bigger of that. Well, they will be discussing that after the race, I'm sure. There are penalties that can be given at the end of the race. I feel like, wait, we lost JJ. Where did JJ go? Did JJ disconnect? What happened? I don't see him typing in what is the stream, not the stream chat, the league chat. I don't know what happened to him. It's really unfortunate to see that all the preparation, all that fighting for Ferrari has come undone, as effectively, you should see it, right, as a mechanical DNF for JJ, which is incredibly disappointing. I think we could have had a very good fight on our hands with him in the mix. Fortunately, he is out. So the drivers do seem to have settled a little bit. Manfred actually not that far off of Lima, but I think both of these drivers are struggling a little bit with the weather conditions because they are very, very difficult to deal with. And Gerald's actually getting the better of Dustin a little bit here. We got quite close. I think now it's not as clear. We'll be trying to get close to Tomska and will want that overtake. I think he thinks he deserves it. And to be honest, you also what happens? You can make up your own mind. But I think you know what I think. But it's very important as a driver, right? To not let it get to you. I think Michael made a mistake. Now HCM is ahead. Michael is not in that fight with Cuckoo and HCM and Silver. Oh, but Cuckoo, oh, speaking of Cuckoo, is going into the pits. I'm not sure if that was entirely intentional. It looked very slow. But maybe that was intentional. Cuckoo is going into the pits, and this will be his stop to go on to slicks. Dustin is also in the pits. Gerald is also in the pits. And a lot of people are overtaking now. Alan, crucially, is still on the wets. Well, inters. It looks like wets. They are inters. Still on the intermediate tires. At least, I think we safely assume they are inters. Problem with wets is that they drop off very, very quickly. Even if the track is wet, you might do one lap that's good. And every other lap, it's completely overheated. They have no grip. So, we're probably seeing Alan on the inters. And Domska will also be on intermediates. Is he going to enter the pits? Alan Fry is entering the pits. Domska is also entering the pits. Let's go. HCM is a little bit further behind. Let's see what he does. And let's see, crucially, where does Dustin come out? He's currently ahead of Gerald. That's also important. HCM, wait, does he decide? HCM decides to continue. That is interesting. I'm not sure if that's the right call. I have not done any practice. I have no idea what to expect. Alan Fry is going into the pits. I think he's already stopped. So let's see what Dustin is. Dustin coming through the start-finish straight. Did he call it perfectly? Alan Fry exiting. And there is Dustin. He's got better speed. He's got a better line here. Pit exit then, and I think that's him ahead of Alan Fry. Alan Fry misjudged the transition point. Dustin went in a lap earlier, and turns out the slicks were much better, making up like 6 to 10 seconds on Alan Fry and taking the lead of the race. That also means that HCM and Silver would have lost out much more than anyone else. Gerald Smith currently in P5, which will be P3 effectively. Manfred, I don't think, has stopped yet. Domska in P7, he's lost out massively to both Gerald Smith and Dustin. And Cuckoo, who was, I think, the first one to stop, one of the first ones to stop, I think also had maybe a bit of a mishap on pit entry. I think Silver still hasn't stopped, but I think he will recognize soon that that is a mistake. Yeah, there he goes. He is going in. He's lost a lot there in the meantime. And we have our new race leader, Dustin, after a brilliant undercut, calling the moment to switch perfectly. Capital P perfectly. Currently in the lead of the race. Gerald Smith, his teammate in P3. Alan Fry, the only Ferrari left in this race, in P2. And JJ unfortunately disconnected. Domska, after a creative racing line, let's say, finds himself in P4. So I think is roughly where he belongs, where he should be. Cuckoo currently in P5, which is very good news for Cuckoo. Means that she's got a very, very good case. Beat HGM and E-Silver in the championship, who are not just one spot behind her, but two. Michael is in between, and the gap is 8 seconds to HGM. 9 seconds. Not 9, sorry, 7. 7 to 8 seconds, roughly. Hopefully the pace is also good. Position is one thing, pace is another. Dustin, 1:06.4, faster than Alan, faster than Gerald. And the gap is pretty big, 6/10 that Dustin has won, just because the tires will already be up to temp a little bit, and he will already know exactly how to drive it. Dustin with a very good strategical victory. But it's not over, and he knows it. He absolutely is aware that Alan will be able to pick up the pace, will be able to find the right lines. But it's still, I think, a little bit tricky out there. The curbs won't have dried as much as the rest of the track. And when you dip your tire in, it's not that you immediately aquaplane, you get lifted, and you have no grip. It's that the tires cool down. And over time, that just means that you have no grip. If the tires get too cold. Alan Fry is not that far behind. 2.6 seconds. I would not feel comfortable with 2.6 seconds as a gap. Last laps then. 1.6.7. Alan Fry with a 1.6.2. That is big. This guy a little bit slower. Cuckoo even slower. Losing a second to Michael. That is not good. I think Cuckoo's made a couple of mistakes. That's the only Arrows car. Have to pull the card for the team as well. Michael in P6. Closing in on Cuckoo. Now, I've come to know Michael in this series, the last two races, as a very aggressive driver when it comes to wheel-to-wheel racing. In defense, he will not let go, basically. He bites into his position and will not let go of it, which makes it very difficult to overtake him. But it can also make him very, very vulnerable to unforced errors, let's say. We saw and Cuckoo makes a big mistake. Speaking of unforced errors, he's cutting the corner a little bit much. Accidentally switching to numbskull for no reason there. But yeah, better exit for Michael now. And he's side by side on the inside of the next corner. Oh, but Cuckoo apparently has lower downforce. Unlike Spa, where she admitted she had too much. But downforce for Michael does mean he will be able to brake better. And Cuckoo is demoted to P6, which is still fine for fighting the championship, but Michael is ahead in P5. Go back to the standings. Where did Damska stand? He actually stands a little bit behind Michael. Today will not make too much of a dent in that as it stands, but Michael does need to take care. If he makes too many mistakes, if he drops too far back, then it's very possible that he loses positions in the championship as well. He needs to be careful with that. Dustin actually 1.6.2 last lap. Alan Fry not quite settled in yet. Last lap was a 1.7.104. We've seen much faster from him. It's not as consistent as he would like it to be. We do see some back markers already. I think that's Manfred, who is, I believe, the only driver so far to be lapped. Shame on that, honestly, because the start was actually hectic. Very difficult to judge the transition, and I think he's misjudged it, along with a couple of other drivers. Also very close behind, but we do have blue flags, and I think, yeah, he's getting out of the way now. There you go. Alan Fry has a clear track ahead of him. And I'll be trying to chase down Dustin. That'll be the fight we are watching for this race. So Alan Fry on the chase. Last lap they were a lot more matched. Also quickly have a look, because Cuckoo, I think Cuckoo's struggling a little bit with this transition slicks. 1.8.6 last time around. Judged the transition perfectly, don't get me wrong. Not in as soon as it was reasonable to do so. But would have wanted to stay ahead of Michael. Michael actually kind of keeping pace with Domska. Michael still has a bit of an advantage, but there's not much. 1.8.6 last time around. Let's see what she does this lap around. Michael also coming up to the start-finish line. Getting a timing from him, 1.70. That's a good lap time. 1.78. That is not going to be fast enough to keep HGM behind. And HGM will be smelling blood. Smelling blood also. Silver, 1.6.2. Those are leader laps, mate. What is he doing? What is he doing down here? That is an incredible lap at this stage of the race. Hopefully that's not because he underfueled. There could be some fuel strats. We do have to keep that in mind. Although I will say, if you force the undercut, you do have a problem. Alan Fry last lap at 1.5.8. I'll take it back. That's not a leader lap anymore. Alan Fry with incredible lap times. And I think he's starting to smell blood. Dustin, 1.67, is normally fine. But not with Alan Fry behind you, who has found the groove, who has found the pace in this car, on this track, in this state, in these conditions. He's now chasing for a serious challenge for the lead. It was one thing to win a championship. It's another thing to win it while also having to fight for the lead and winning that fight. And that is exactly what Alan Fry will be aiming to do. I do see Michael has actually made a big mistake, and it's Cuckoo that's currently catching him. And HCM is catching him, and Silver is catching him. Those four might be getting closer together as the race goes on, so we'll have a couple of battles that are shaping up. In fact, speaking of shaping up, I think Silver already has a good vision of ACM. We'll keep an eye on Fry in the tower on the left. Silver again a 1.62. I think it indicates either he's incredibly fast on race pace or he has lower fuel. And if it's the latter, I do worry, because that could come back to bite you. Because at some point you will have to pit for much higher fuel than the rest. That could be a problem, but if that's not the case, yeah, he's doing good. It's also possible, absolutely possible, that the rest overfueled. That they're trying to go for a one-stop, which would be interesting. Because I heard from Dustin before the race started. I do like to go into my briefings, chat to the drivers before the race, so I have a good idea of what to expect. I did hear that a two-stop was very, very likely to be seen. And if a 1.6 is a mark of a two-stop, then it's possible, absolutely possible, that the likes of Cuckoo and HCM are on a one-stop, or attempting one, or at least fueled for one. 1.6.9, HCM also picking up pace a little bit. Cuckoo, oh, but that's a big mistake from Silver. He catches it though, not in the grass. That's the most important thing. Go on the grass will still be wet and it will still drop your tire temperatures. And that takes a little bit of time to fix. HCM also has Cuckoo in his visor, but we do have to Might have to pause this one a little bit, as much as this is... I want to see this though, because HGM is right there, and Cuckoo is struggling, absolutely struggling to get the car going the way she wants it to go. HGM is getting very close, looking on the inside of this corner. He's gonna send it. He's gonna send it, and he makes it. And well, he's still in the fight. It's not over yet. Through here, then trying for a switchback. That's a beautiful move from him. Cuckoo is maybe powerless to defend, although we did see low downforce on this car. Faster as it stands. An inside line for the next corner though. Little bit of slipstream. eSilver is trying to get into the fight. Around the outside then. Is it going to be enough? HGM1 takes the position from Cuckoo. Cuckoo fights back though. But it's not enough. And it's going to have to be HGM ahead of Cuckoo. And Silver is right there as they were battling. Caught up. And is straight into the fight. HGM actually incredibly 17.9 there. Didn't lose that much time. Cuckoo did lose a second or two fighting. So, incredible job from HGM, showing himself what, showing everyone what he's worth. Very nice job. I have to nervously keep looking because I don't want to miss the fight for the lead. But there's still 2 seconds between the two, unless Dustin makes a crucial mistake. Ooh, speaking of mistake. Cuckoo threatening with one, but not a good line for this. It should be a good exit for Silver, or at least better. It's going to be difficult trying to get it in the slipstream then. Who does have low downforce that can be difficult to deal with if you're trying to overtake. As soon as you get out of the slipstream, yeah, you slow down massively. But later on the brakes, much later, around the outside, and that's eSilver also past Cuckoo. And Cuckoo actually looked comfortable for the championship. Not anymore. HGM and Silver are ahead, and Silver will want to overtake HGM, and will have a brilliant fight then for the last race. Because that will mean that they are still like a point separated from each other, which is incredible. Quickly, let's do roof. That's much more comfortable, I think, or normal. Yeah, Cuckoo is losing a little bit. I think the low downforce is great for the straights, probably dreadful everywhere else. So that might be. Last time it was too little downforce, too much downforce. Today it might be too little downforce. We'll probably hear it after the race in the group chat that they have. That's Cuckoo in P8, having conceded a couple of positions. Alan Fry looks to be catching. I was incredibly nervous, but. Dustin keeping the pace up, doing an excellent job so far. You have to wonder what these two are thinking in terms of strategy. Because if they have to pit again, assuming they both have to pit again, my call is that the person who pits last will win this race. And I don't think there's any ifs or buts about this. So the person who pits last will probably win the race. That is an if or but, and probably is a bit hedging there. Dustin has a very good lap of 1.5.8. So they're both capable of 1.5s in race pace. Very interesting. Nearly entered their stints, which I don't think we're reaching yet. I don't think we're there yet. We could. One of them might decide to go early, which would be maybe a bit unwise. Because again, the person who pits last, how it works is these cars consume fuel. Every car consumes fuel, obviously. But fuel is pretty heavy. So the longer you are in your stint, the lower your fuel is. Now in modern F1 cars, you cannot refuel. So when you box, just a fuel doesn't matter. But these do. What that means is, let's say you're both in a fight, you've got roughly equal pace, right? If you box, you come out on a much heavier car, while your opponent is on a much lighter car, about as light as the car gets. If they can do 3 more laps than you on a very light car, then they will on average be faster. Now you do have the tires to worry about, because the tires could be so worn that you're not faster anyway, but on average, on these cars specifically, the fuel matters much more in terms of pace. Or a bit of a mistake from Silver there. The fuel matters much more
than the tires. As a result, an overcut tends to be better than undercut, so you want to pit as late as possible. So I think it's likely going to happen is essentially whoever's going to pit last. Ooh, and that's a big mistake from Silver. I think his rear tires after the last corner, I think that's Cuckoo also pass. His rear tires after the last corner, after he had the little slide, overheated a little bit. He didn't take that into account, and this time took just too much speed in. You have to brake a little bit early. Maybe even move your brake bias a little bit forwards after things like that. Yeah, he loses a position a lot of time. That's Cuckoo back in P7. Cuckoo actually has picked up the pace again a little bit. ACM still a lot faster though. He's doing an excellent job there in P6. Alan Fry with a 1.57 though. So you look at what this looks like from his perspective. He does see that rear light from Dustin that is on. Always good to have on just in case. Much easier to spot your opponent like that. Alan does have to be thinking, if he makes a big mistake and crashes out to the point that he cannot finish, the only way he doesn't win the championship today. Maybe that's what he wants in case he can't win. Just so that, like, you want to climb out to finish, right? You want to win the race and the championship at the same time if possible. But, of course he won't do that. He will be trying to do this on track or in the pits. I think I was going to say, what I haven't said is, probably whoever pits last is already predetermined by whoever has more or less fuel in the car. The drivers will just simply be running this car until the fuel is empty. The fuel tank is empty. That's all about. If Dustin has to pit early, if Dustin has to pit earlier, that is all about building big enough of a gap that he can cover that overcut. And then after that, doing a bit of hammer time to set the best laps of his life. Feel like, wait, hang on. Well, he does have to pit earlier, and the gap wasn't that big. Ooh, gonna be scary for Dustin as he makes his final pit stop, and it's a little bit early. He's going for an undercut. Maybe. I did say the tires on this car, the fuel is much more important than the tires. Maybe on this track is different. I don't know that. The drivers will. But Alan Fry now in the lead. But he's not driving against Gerald to keep that. He's driving against Dustin, who hopefully for him, and I think he's nailed it in that aspect, because Michael is very far behind, and Donska is actually quite far ahead. So he's got very good clear air. That is very important if you're going to stop. Will be trying to go as fast as he can. I'm not sure what Alan's going to do. Is Alan going to box as well? I don't think so. I think it's just going to run this fuel tank dry as much as he can. I'll have to wait a couple of laps to see, though, what they can do. Alan Fry, 1:06.3. Laps like that might not be enough. I don't know. We'll have to see. Gerald with decent pace, but I think his consistency is letting him down a little bit today, with him not able to keep up with the leaders of the race. So only 8 seconds behind. It's not that bad, considering where the rest is. We're having a little bit more trouble keeping up with the likes of Alan Fry and Dustin. Donska currently in P3, again, virtual, assuming he still has to pit. And actually, I'm looking at the lap times. Dustin, 1:16.195. I'm not sure how representative that is. I'm tempted to say it's pretty representative, in the sense that he will be faster than Alan, who is now coming into the pits. Now, this is crucial. This is critical. This is where the race might be decided, ladies and gentlemen. Because if Alan comes out ahead, it's going to be very difficult for Dustin to do anything about it. Alan Fry coming into the pits. And that will be his stop right there. And Dustin in the last section of the track. He's got a little bit of traffic ahead of him. Michael in his visor. But Alan is driving out now. Let's see where Dustin is. Dustin is already on start finish straight. I think Dustin has nailed this very nicely. And it might be the undercut actually on this track that works better. Because that is a huge gap compared to what we saw before. I think Dustin has absolutely nailed this. He'll be a few seconds ahead of Alan. And with one hand on this Grand Prix trophy. And we'll still have to concede the championship to Alan. But that is a huge, huge win for Dustin. He's currently behind Domschka. And Geralt still. But Domschka, he will be likely able to pass. His tires are fresh. I think tires... I might have been wrong when I said earlier that the fuel matters more than the tires. On this track, it might be different. And judging by how quickly Dustin catches up to this man, I think the tires make a huge difference here. Bit of a mistake from one of the white cars. I'm not exactly sure who's driving that. I think Domschka is gonna let Dustin go. Maybe, or he's breaking the slipstream. One of the two. I think he's breaking the slipstream. Dustin is letting him do it. So if you're weaving around like that, you're not getting the lineup as good for the next corner. There's blue flags there, but I don't think that's right. Because Domschka is actually just fighting for position here. Might be blue flags for someone else. I think it's probably... Is it Lima? Yeah, it's Lima. Or Alan Fry, letting him go. Dustin does make his way past Domschka in the foreground. Taking P2. And importantly, this is more important, putting a car between him and Alan. That is the most important thing he's done here. Meanwhile, Geralt still in the lead. In contrast, he will be hoping Domschka gives Alan a little bit of trouble. And Dustin, excellent job that stop. Really put him into the fight here. But Alan is pushing. Alan will be pushing hard here. I don't think he will take this laying down. He's gonna fight for it. And I think close battle we have currently. Silver catching up to Limovia. Silver may have stopped another time. Unfortunately, there's no way to check. So we'll have to speculate on that. Has lost a lot since making an error in the fight with Cuckoo and HDM. Unfortunately, in the championship, he will be on the back foot. Currently is 1 point behind. It's going to be a little bit more behind as it stands. It's not over until it's over, of course. Alan Fry now catching up to Domschka on the last corner of the racing track. On the inside then for turn 1. Not too much trouble from Domschka as they come together a little bit. Notice that they're getting close to each other and like shy teenagers trying to make a move but not quite making a move. They jolt back to where they were. And Alan Fry makes the move. Currently in P3 behind Dustin. Gap has grown a little bit last lap. That was also because Alan was fighting. And also Dustin's 1.5.1 is a very strong time. Who else have we got? Silver still very close to Lima. Are we trying it either on this lap or the start of the next lap? Into turn 1. Lining it up. Sometimes just putting the pressure on, just being behind. Putting the pressure on just means existing behind the driver ahead of you. And close enough that they can see you in the mirror. Sometimes that can be enough. Especially with less experienced drivers. More likely to make a mistake in events like that. He's looking, but simply too far away. I don't think Silva has I think he's more downforce than the driver ahead, Lima. So it's going to be a bit of a difficult pass, especially on the long straight. It makes a bit of a mistake there, not lining it up correctly. He has to lift, and that's a huge time loss. Say huge. Other seconds is huge in racing terms. It's like half a second. Substantial. Fight's not over though. Lima does have some defensive advantage by being quicker on the straights. I think also Silva is struggling a little bit with the dirty air from the driver end. The slipstream is just not strong enough to compensate for the extra downforce, it seems. But it's not a good line for Lima. If you go that far on the inside, you just don't have a lineup for any of these corners. So much faster Silver is here. Around the outside here is Bolt, but he tries to stick it. And then through here, he has to lift again, so he was on the outside. Very, very technical fight between these two, actually. There's a lot of things going on here that you don't see with the naked eye. Those are often the most interesting fights, but also by far the most difficult to understand what is actually going on. He does keeps trying to line it up. And actually, so Alan with a 1.4.8 casually on the leaderboard, doing a very good job to try and still win this race. On the outside, and Silva is lined up better than he was, although his speed is just not there. So trying to get it on the braking here, he just tries to line it up. He's actually got excellent practice here, because I think you can overtake with a setup like that, but it is a bit challenging to get it set up correctly. And this time he follows in the footsteps of Silva. He doesn't have to lift here. I feel like the line still wasn't quite optimal. It's a lot better. Lima makes a little bit of a mistake, and Silver is right there to try and capitalize on it. Through the S's, they go side by side. Very good racing from these two. Around the outside then, through this corner. Ooh, a little bit of a touch. Hopefully no damage on the front wing. Oh, another touch. I think that was a bit much. He's lost a lot of speed through that, and that's Lima having been overtaken by Silver. I think immediately is happy to try and stretch his legs. Very nice move from him, and very crucial for his championship hopes. Try and beat Cuckoo or ACM, who are currently up the road and without a safety car, probably uncatchable. It'll be very difficult either way. So for the most part, most of the track, they're about 10 seconds apart from each other, apart from the effective leaders in the race, Alan Fry and Dustin, who are in the 1.4s now, 1.4.9 followed by a 1.4.9. They are so close to each other in pace, but that's not what Alan Fry needs right now. He needs to be faster, and substantially so. One 4.9 followed by a 1.4.7, and that is a response by about 2/10. Oh, I misses turn 1 a little bit. I think Alan Fry is going to struggle to catch Dustin, and Gerald Smith hasn't stopped yet. For the second time anyway. Gerald Smith has stopped once for the switch to slicks. I think he has decided he's trying a one stop. I think, because there's 8 laps left. Now that does mean, yes, with the worst of these tires, but his car will be light, relatively. 1.5.7 is about the lap times he's going to need to do. If he's any slower for any of the laps, it's going to be very, very difficult for him to stay ahead. Dustin is about a second a lap faster. But getting there is one thing, getting past is another. I was talking about the fight for the lead. As if it was Dustin against Alan. Gerald had to stop again, but I think I might be wrong, because Gerald, I don't think he is stopping again. Gerald Smit is in the lead of the race, and I think we have to take it seriously. A strategical masterclass out of nowhere from the Jordan cars. Actually, for the Constructors' Championship is a huge deal. Alan Fry will not just be worrying about catching Dustin, but in the event that Gerald's pace drops off, which is the risk if you are running too long on your tires, he will also be trying to overtake Gerald Smit. And Dustin not more than a second faster than Gerald, which is what he's gonna need. Gerald currently set to win this race. Also ACM, credit to him, he's been doing a very good job. He's currently 4 seconds behind Michael, which is definitely something he can overcome. Very good pace. Michael, come around to finish this lap. What's his time? A 1:6.7, HGM a 1:6.5. It's faster for HGM, but not fast enough, I think. Much like Dustin, he's faster than Gerald, but not fast enough to catch him. It's gonna be very interesting by the end. Also, let's not forget, we do have Manfred still driving. He's been struggling a little bit more than other drivers. Of course, if you don't have the pace, it doesn't matter. For championships like these, it's often good enough and just as important to be just driving, just to win these championships, and you'll eventually just get better. Just need to spend time in the car. Doing 110s, 111s, and that's fine. Gugu also did a 1.9 last lap, which I think is because Alan Fry was led by. Will have been. So Gerald, a 1.5.7. Gerald is turning up the wick. And he's not going to stop. He's refusing to let his tires be changed, to let his fuel be refilled. He thinks he can make it to the end of the race on these tires without problems. A 1.5.8 this lap, that is very good. That is very good. That's very good for his chances. 1.4.8 is a second faster. Very, very fast, mind you, but it's not fast enough. Gerald Smit is set to win this race by like a second at the end, if this keeps up. Dustin has been hoodwinked. He has been bamboozled into a two-stopper. Alan Fry has been hoodwinked even more into responding. As a result, Alan Fry doesn't just finish not first or not second, he finishes third as it stands. Because Dustin's pace is very, very strong, and so far I've seen Alan Fry beat it in a couple of laps, but not consistently. So this entire race for the lead hinges entirely on what Dustin does, in terms of lap time, in terms of not making mistakes. And of course Gerald also. Gerald again turning up the wick, 1.5.7, Dustin a 1.4.7. If Gerald had made a mistake, it would have been a 1.6.2. Then Dustin would have been fast enough to maybe catch him. But Gerald is on top of it today. He's showing his absolute strongest pace, his absolute best consistency we've ever seen from him. I've never seen him drive this good. He is a different beast, a monster today. And if this is the strategy, if this is how he wins today, he will have absolutely deserved it. Very, very strong performance. Much as I make it sound like it comes out of nowhere, he did finish on the podium the past 4 races. So it's absolutely not that Gerald never had it in him. It's just rare to see him come out above Dustin and Alan in the same race. Got 2 second places behind Alan in Canada and Austria. So today it will be the first time that he beats Alan. Provided it happens, right? Provided it happens. Dustin is still catching by a second a lap. And while 3 laps, coming up to only 2 laps once he crosses the line is just not enough to catch. One mistake is... Only one mistake could be enough. It's not even in the sense that you go off, you lose time. It's in the sense that you go off, your tires get cold, and you don't have the pace. Which won't matter much in the last lap, that specifically. But a mistake, any mistake could. Don't want to risk it. Gelsmith across the line and a 1.5.7. Dustin, a 1.4.6 is faster. It would have maybe been fast enough 10 laps ago. Is not fast enough now. He needs to be much faster than Gerald. Essentially, Gerald has this race in the pocket provided he makes no mistakes. That's easier said than done. Further behind, we do see HCM is catching Michael fairly rapidly, but it's not rapid enough, I think. HCM in the Jaguar. So actually had a very good showing. Hasn't been in this championship too much, missed 2 races. He finished 3 of the remaining 4. 4, 5 and 6 points to his name in those races. What? 7 points as it stands. So a very, very good performance from him today, actually improving his best result. On to the last lap then. Gerald Smith. Now, during this race, you may be confused if you've been listening to me too much, because Gerald Smith should have stopped again. That's what I thought. That's, I think, what Dustin was assuming as well. But Gerald Smith has managed to extend his 1 slick stint throughout roughly the entire race. They had to stop incredibly early. And Dustin is in the background. He is catching. He is rapid. He's the fastest man on track right now. But he's not fast enough to catch Gerald, who has done a strategical masterclass and a masterclass of saving these tires on what is a very tricky track for the tires, it seems. Gerald Smith going through the last few corners. There's not much that can go wrong here. He could miss the corner. The little cone, he picks it up. Normally there's no damage if it's already been displaced. And that's Gerald Smith through the last corner then. And Dustin is nowhere to be seen. Across the line, Gerald Smith wins the Indianapolis race, followed by his teammate Dustin. It is a Jordan 1-2, and Gerald is ecstatic so much that he spins in front of the pit lane. Alan Prix has to take home P3, but also, despite the fact it's the worst finish this championship, he takes home the championship today. We've got 2 big winners. Alan Prix, congratulations with the championship. And Gerald Smith, honestly, even more congratulations with a brilliant strategical masterclass and a brilliant tire-saving masterclass. Donchka, P4. We'll have a little bit of a tail, I think, for him because of an earlier incident. Michael, MH7 in P5 will be very happy with that. HCM in P6. Very nice job from him too. Cuckoo in 7th. Little bit of trouble. E-Silver has shown very strong pace today, even a 5.9 last lap. But yeah, unfortunately, a couple of mistakes and he dropped back just too much. Lima Fear behind that. And Manfred, I think he did finish, yes, P10. We'll be taking home 2 points for that. Or 3, I think 3. Very nice. Dutier. as Dustin says, you animal. Very nice job from Gerald. I think they're being very congratulatory to him. Congratulations from Alan Fry, and Alan, congratulations for the championship. Yeah, two very happy people today. And even if Alan didn't finish, with Gerald Smith winning the race, Alan would have won the championship anyway. So it's a double whammy there. And I'm going to save the replay while I have the chance. And yeah, I'm going to end the stream. I'm going to watch some chess, because it's a very exciting day for chess today. Thank you so much for watching if you have been. If you haven't already, don't forget to follow. In 2 weeks' time, the last race of the season will be here. I will stream it. That has already been confirmed. So, yeah, hopefully you tune in then as well. You know how these drivers can race. It's always been very exciting. There's always something going on. Yeah, and hopefully I'll have you there with me in 2 weeks. Thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.